Narcissists don't fall in love, they hunt. And every victim is picked from a psychological checklist. Today we're exposing the narcissist's victim selection process, and why you weren't just unlucky, were targeted. It felt so random, didn't it? Like destiny. They appeared in your life at the perfect moment, said all the right things, seemed to understand you in ways nobody else ever had. The connection felt instant, almost supernatural. But what if I told you there was nothing random about it? What if that perfect timing was actually calculated? What if their deep understanding of you came from psychological profiling, not genuine connection? What if every word they spoke was designed to hook you based on vulnerabilities they identified within minutes of meeting you? Here's the disturbing reality. Narcissists don't fall in love with people. They hunt for sources of supply. And just like any predator in the wild, they have specific criteria for their prey. You weren't chosen because you were special, though they made you believe you were. Or you were chosen because you fit a profile. Psychological profile that made you the perfect victim for their particular brand of manipulation. And the scariest part? They can identify these traits faster than you can introduce yourself. While you're thinking about first impressions, they're already running your psychological background check. To understand how narcissists choose their victims, we need to enter their predatory mindset, and it's more systematic than you realize. The vulnerability scanner, think of narcissists as emotional hackers. They're constantly scanning for psychological vulnerabilities they can exploit. Within the first conversation, you're looking for what I call supply indicators. Signs that you'll provide them with the emotional resources they crave. Dr. Martha Stout, in The Sociopath Next Door, describes how predatory personalities can identify targets through micro-expressions, speech patterns, and behavioral cues that most people miss. Narcissists have developed this ability to a frightening degree. Target profile number 1. The empathic overachiever, their favorite target. Someone who combines high empathy with high ambition. You care deeply about others, but you also have significant accomplishments or potential. This combination is narcissistic gold. Why? Because your empathy makes you easy to manipulate, while your achievements give them status by association. You'll absorb their emotional chaos while elevating their social position. You're not just supply, you're premium supply. They identify empathic overachievers through specific markers. You apologize frequently. Even when not at fault, you have impressive credentials, but downplay your achievements. You immediately ask about their problems. When they share struggles, you light up when helping others solve their issues. Target profile number 2, the wounded healer. Narcissists have radar for people who've overcome significant trauma, but still carry emotional wounds. If you're someone who's survived abuse, loss, or major life challenges, you're incredibly attractive to them. This isn't coincidence, it's strategy. Trauma survivors often have heightened emotional intelligence and deep capacity for understanding pain. But trauma also creates psychological blind spots that narcissists exploit. Carl Jung called this the wounded healer archetype, people who transform their pain into the ability to help others. Narcissists specifically target wounded healers because your trauma history makes you less likely to trust your own perceptions. Your healing journey has made you believe in people's capacity to change. Your empathy for pain makes you excuse their hurt behavior. Your strength through adversity proves you can handle their chaos. Target profile number 3, the isolated achiever. They love successful people who lack strong support networks. Maybe you're new to a city, recently divorced, or focus so intensely on your career that your social circle has shrunk. Your isolation isn't weakness, but to a narcissist, it's opportunity. Isolated achievers are perfect targets because there are fewer people to warn you about red flags. You're more dependent on them for social connection. Your achievements provide them status without competition from your friends. Your success proves you have resources they can access. The love bombing algorithm. Once they've identified you as a viable target, they deploy what Robert Greene calls mirroring, becoming exactly what you need them to be. But this isn't intuitive, it's calculated. They're studying your social media, listening to your stories, observing your reactions. Every piece of information becomes part of their manipulation strategy. You mentioned you've always felt misunderstood? Suddenly they're the only person who truly gets you. You talk about feeling unsupported in past relationships? They become incredibly supportive at first. You reveal you value honesty, and they start sharing vulnerable stories that make them seem authentic. This is psychological mirroring taken to predatory extremes. They're not falling for you. They're constructing a version of themselves designed to make you fall for them. The recruitment process narcissists often employ what I call soft recruitment, gradually introducing you to their world while isolating you from yours. They might introduce you to their friends who validate how perfect you are together. Create shared experiences that feel unique and special, gradually increase the time you spend together. Until they become your primary social connection, present themselves as your advocate against people who don't understand your relationship. This isn't relationship building. It's cult recruitment on an individual level. It's a discard setup. Here's what most people don't realize. Narcissists are often planning your eventual discard from the moment they select you. They're not looking for forever. They're looking for maximum extraction with minimum consequence. They choose victims who they believe will either be too ashamed to expose them publicly, lack the support network to mount effective resistance, have too much to lose by fighting back, be so trauma bonded that they'll keep returning despite mistreatment. The multiple supply strategy. Advanced narcissists don't just choose one victim. They maintain what psychologists call a harem of supply sources. You might think you're in an exclusive relationship while they're simultaneously love bombing to other people. This isn't just about backup options. Multiple supply sources serve different purposes. Primary supply provides the main emotional and practical resources. Secondary supply validates their desirability and provides ego boosts. Tertiary supply offers specialized resources, money, status, connections. They choose each person based on what specific need they fulfill in their psychological ecosystem. The most heartbreaking reality? The qualities that make you a good person. Kindness, forgiveness, benefit of the doubt thinking are exactly what make you an ideal victim. Narcissists specifically avoid targeting people with strong boundaries and willingness to enforce them. Large protective social networks, history of cutting off toxic people quickly, low empathy, or high skepticism. Nothing to offer in terms of resources or status. They want people who will stay and try to make things work, even when things get bad. But here's where we reclaim your power. Understanding their selection process isn't meant to make you paranoid. It's meant to make you untargetable. Reframe number 1. Your qualities aren't flaws, they're superpowers. Your empathy, your drive to help, your capacity to see potential in people. These aren't weaknesses, they're strengths that got weaponized against you. The solution isn't to become cold and cynical. The solution is to add boundaries to your warmth. Reframe number 2. You can be empathetic without being available. Empathy doesn't require you to absorb someone else's emotional chaos. You can understand their pain without taking responsibility for fixing it. Healthy people want support, not salvation. Reframe number 3. Being difficult is actually protection. People who are easy to get along with are easy targets. Start being willing to be seen as difficult, demanding, or high maintenance by people who want to use you. The right people will respect your boundaries. The anti-target strategy moving forward: make yourself an unattractive target. Maintain strong friendships outside of romantic relationships. Trust your gut when someone seems too good to be true. Slow down the getting to know you process. Don't share deep vulnerabilities quickly. Watch how they treat service workers, ex-partners, and people who can't benefit them. Pay attention to their reaction when you say no to small requests. Remember, healthy people are attracted to your strength, not your vulnerability. The narcissist's victim selection process is precise because it has to be. They can't afford to waste time on people who won't fall for their games. But here's what they didn't count on: you learning their playbook. Every targeting strategy they use becomes useless once you understand it. Every manipulation technique fails when you can see it coming. You weren't chosen because you were weak. You were chosen because you were strong enough to survive their extraction process, while giving enough to make it worthwhile. But strength without awareness is just potential energy waiting to be exploited. Strength, WITH, awareness. That's what narcissists fear most. They can only hunt in the shadows. Once you turn on the lights, the game is over. So let them keep their checklists and their profiles and their hunting strategies. Because now you have something more powerful. The ability to spot a hunter before they spot you, and predators who can't hide, can't hunt,